Is extreme heat likely later this month? Before answering the question, I'll just provide some context. Firstly, every day there are literally hundreds of computer model run updates. Each one provides a prediction of possible future weather conditions. Secondly, many of them are part of what are called ensemble models, tools used to assess the likelihood of different scenarios. And thirdly, the longer the lead time, so the further ahead the predictions are for, the more they diverge, hence the chance of extreme solutions increases. That's the background. Here's the data. This is what's called a postage stamp plot. It shows the maximum temperature forecasts from all of the runs in the GEFS ensemble model for Sunday the 15th of June. I'm just using temperatures here because it's relevant to the discussion, but it could be any forecast variable. But what you'll see is with the lead time being quite short, although there are differences between the frames, they are not huge. So if I take the coolest and hottest runs, the coolest on the left shows forecast temperatures around 20-21 in the London area, the hottest around 24-25. It's a similar story in terms of the range as you head northwards across the UK. But jump ahead 2 weeks, so now Friday the 27th of June, and it's clear from the postage stamp plot that there are now much bigger differences between the runs. If I pull out the coolest and hottest ones on this update, at this range, what we see is it's now between 17 and 19 degrees in the London area on the coolest run. The hottest row has 38 Celsius, and that difference is reflected as you head northwards across the United Kingdom. So in northern Scotland we're seeing 30, 32 even on the hottest run, whereas on the coolest it's around 13 degrees. So a massive difference between the hottest and coolest runs in the ensemble. Now the key is not to focus on them, the key is to look at what the majority of runs are showing, but to keep these extreme ones in mind because they are indicating what is theoretically possible, not necessarily likely. Another way of plotting the ensemble data is to use graphs such as this. It's for a given location, so London in this instance, and the data being plotted here is from the European model rather than the GEFS. Time is on the horizontal axis, so we start on the left-hand side there, Saturday the 14th of June, and we finish on Saturday the 28th of June. The vertical axis shows forecast temperatures at the ground level, so the ones we actually experience. To begin with, you can't really differentiate the individual runs because they're all showing something very similar, which is what I've just been discussing. But move forward, so from about the 21st of June or thereabouts, and what you see is the runs start to diverge. That's because increasingly the individual predictions are varying. So you've got a range of possible outcomes. The key, as I said, is to look at what most are going for. And what we can see from this one is the trend through the coming days is upwards to around about the 21st of June, or around that time anyway, when temperatures may reach 30 degrees or approach it in southern parts of England. But then they start to dip. Now, with that said, although they are dipping, the majority of runs are dipping and pulling down the average, there are still some which are going for hot conditions. And as I've mentioned, it doesn't mean that those are likely, but it means they are possible. And that's the type of thing which some ensemble updates have shown in recent days. There have been instances where one or two runs have nudged or even slightly exceeded 40 degrees. So to emphasize what it means is that is a theoretical possibility. It would be quite unprecedented for 40 degrees to be reached in the UK in June. It's never happened before, hence it's unprecedented. We got there in July, but in 2022, but never in June. So it may happen, but it probably won't this year. If the computer models are right, it's just something to keep in mind. So to summarize where we are at the moment, it's looking like weather will be turning warmer again next week, and 30 degrees could be recorded between the 19th and the 22nd of June. Temperatures then probably dip, but there is that low chance towards the end of the month of extreme heat. It's just something to keep an eye on. It probably won't happen. The overwhelming majority of runs are not supporting the idea, but it cannot be completely discounted at this stage.